Hello and welcome to the Presenter Mastery Podcast. I'm Lucas, the amateur.
And I'm David, the expert.
And together, we're your weekly guides to unlocking the power of presenting skills. And in today's episode, we are talking about a topic that I find really challenging, and that's how to handle a silent audience.
Woo! What an exciting topic you've chosen for today, Lucas.
Well,
I think a lot of people share that. That's horrible, right?
yeah, well, basically the thing is, you're on stage, you're talking about a subject you're passionate about, you're looking out, and there is no reaction.
Yeah.
There's no laughing.
Yeah.
There's no frantic taking of notes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just starry eyes looking back at you.
Yeah. There you go.
Horrible feeling.
Yes, it can be. Yeah, depending on the way you perceive and look at it. It seems like you have an example of this.
Well, yeah,
You got
I do.
PTSD
Yeah,
written over your entire forehead.
Well, I think I come from a background where I, for several years, stood on stage. I was singing, I was doing music.
Oh, you were good. I saw a video of you that your mother sent to
Oh,
me.
yes, and we're going to, yeah.
We're going to watch that on the company...
Yeah, we can do that on Friday.
on the
Absolutely.
on the
100%.
day. Hmm?
Yes. So I came from a background where on stage, well, when you're singing, you're playing music, usually if you're playing something good, then you get an immediate audience reaction.
Yeah.
And I guess in a way, when I went on to stand on stages in front of either colleagues or I was out presenting, doing lecture work on service, I kind of maybe was that was the thing that was my, what do you call it, my comparison, right? And speaking on stage and being at a rock concert, obviously it's two different things. But this is now, we're sitting here in December. We're about to have a company conference on Friday. 1 year ago, we had a company conference in the same room. And we had launched Presenter Mastery, and I was going to present how our marketing and sales funnel worked. And everything from the intricate part of how do we even decide on an ad, where do we put it, and then walking through all of the different steps. And while doing this, we had our small team of 10 sitting here, and I didn't get any reaction at all. And this was the thing that I had been working really hard on, and that we were going to be working even harder on for the upcoming year. And I started second guessing the things that I was saying. Is this interesting, or are they sitting there thinking, this shit doesn't make sense, you know? All of these questions started arising in my head. And then I know you leaned towards Alexander, our head coach in the program, and whispered something in his ear, which was just, I was so tensed up in this moment. I could see the smallest thing happening in the room. So I just stopped and like, what is it? What is not working? You know? And your answer was, well, no, we just think it's so exciting, and this is so cool. We're just so excited for this upcoming year. And where I was in my head, I was happy that you said it, but also, like, is this true? You know?
You even doubted that?
Yes, basically, because and I think the big pain for me is speaking in front of people that are just non-reactive.
Yeah.
And why are they non-reactive? I mean, you've been in situations exactly the same, I guess.
Yeah.
And it could be, I understand that the subject can be super interesting, or it's very intricate, and it's hard, a lot of information to take in. So you're just sitting there being fed information.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to be expressive. And I didn't plan any raise of hands or I didn't put in a joke to get an reaction. But it just, all these things made it feel tough for me. And it's something that I'm still a little bit afraid of will happen now on Friday if I do another corporate presentation. Like, how do I even go about doing it right? You know, but I understand that it's all in my head. Obviously it is, because well, you found it interesting, and the things that we've been doing this year have really been working. So I know that I didn't talk shit. Like it worked.
Yeah,
This was the plan, and it's really been working.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't feel that way.
No,
but even though I do.
That is true. That is true. And it comes down to our perception of success, right? And to make that clear to everyone, we'll just ask ourselves, what is the perception of success in life, right? Based on Western standards. Success in life, based on Western standards, is that you live in a house, you have kids, you've got a functioning marriage, you earn money, you've got a nice car, and your kids are in activities or something like that. Like there's a definition of Western success. But when that door closes and they don't see you, is your marriage happy? Do you feel good? Are you in a good space? Are you a happy person? Why isn't that a measurement of success? Because the person outside doesn't see that. The person sees what's possible to see. But what's more important, is it more important to have all those visual factors of success, or is it more important to be satisfied and happy with your partner, with your life, mental state-wise? I'd argue the second, because I lived in a depression for so long. I had everything a success would define me to have, like cool sports cars, massive house, money to spend. That wasn't success. That was the Western version of success. I was successful. I was as far as from successful in my head as I could be. I was the saddest person alive, I felt like.
It's kind of success on a paper, but life isn't a paper. Life is real.
Yeah, there you go. And this is the same thing. So we have been brainwashed by society to define success in a particular way. When it comes to presentations, we've been either brainwashed, and it doesn't have to even be, it can even be like one instance, one bad presentation you had in 9th grade when you were 14. That single thing could be defined as brainwashing. That single thing set your definition of success for a presentation. So what is the definition of success for a presentation in the average human being? Like if we perceive successful presentations, what are we expecting from the audience?
Well, some sort of reaction.
So reaction?
Yeah.
Okay, so you'd say reaction. Any kind of reaction that you'd like?
As a measurement of success of the presentation.
Okay, yeah. Yes. What is the definition of the, again, maybe then, the Western version of success from an audience?
Well, applause.
Applause, reaction. What else?
A bit of laughter.
Bit of laughter, not bad.
Yeah,
okay.
You should put that in. Note-taking.
Ooh, note-taking. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and a high five afterwards.
Well, then that's after them, but we're talking about what's happening there and then. So if you deliver a presentation now on Friday, and people are taking notes and they're applauding you.
I have a lot of rules from my presentation. I hear it.
They're laughing, and they're showing reactions. Then you're good. Okay. Now that is your learned expression of success in an audience. And mine was very, very similar. I had the same kind of learned impression of what success from an audience is. But I have met so many audiences, and I can just say that's not true. That is just, and there's various things. Like one thing that affects it is, what do you do as an audience member if what you are hearing is so mind-blowing that you're even forgetting to react? You're just consuming what's being said. I've had that happen to me a number of times, and I'm like, why am I getting no reaction? I'm doing my jokes and not really laughing. I'm doing exercises, but I don't get the sound. I'm not getting the emotional reaction I was expecting. But when they come up after, they go like, and I've honestly had people then say this to me. They look at me and they go like, I don't even know where I was. I was so involved in your presentation, I forgot that I was even in the room. Okay, no reaction, absolutely silent audience. So that's one version, which you need to accept that if there's 100 people there, you may have 40 which are just baffled by your delivery, your content, to such an extent that they forget that they're there, and therefore they don't react. So that's one of the reasons. Culturally, I went to Singapore, and to me this was a horrible experience, because I went up on stage, there were 600 people sitting in the audience, and there was like a majority from particular Asian countries. And I delivered my keynote, and I didn't get any reaction in my attention grabber. I usually do. And then I did a bunch of spices. I usually get a laughter. I usually get response. And my expectation of their appreciation was just wrong, because I got nothing. So my solution to this was to dial up my game. So I was all over the stage. I was doing full-out role play, hardcore synchronicity. I was hitting oxytocin, so I felt myself cry. I went down on stage on my knees. I was freaking amazing, man. But nothing helped. And I left that stage, and I'm like, I traveled to Singapore. I did this. I got no reaction. And I stood there, and then a person came up, another person, another person, another person. And after a while, there was a queue of about 30, 40 people. And they were mesmerized. Their comments of admiration was just insane. But from their cultural perspective, when I asked them, they said that we don't show emotions publicly, maybe like you're used to. So imagine now that you have 100 people, 40 are just baffled by you, maybe 5 or 10 of them are culturally, or even more. Like, that's not, we live in Sweden, right? A lot of Swedes, when you ask them, how was Christmas? They go, well, it was okay. We're trained to not show emotion. So you could literally have not just particular people from particular parts of Asia, which maybe by culture have trained not to show emotion in public, but you have Swedes to do that as well. You have British people that do that. So you have 40 there, baffled by how amazing you are. You have 30 which don't show emotion because they've never done that. Their parents didn't show them how to do it. So you got a bunch of those. So there are various reasons to why people behave in the way that they do. And an exciting thing with audiences is that it's always down to the collective force of it, right? So if you have an audience where they find it's you, I've found this particular in certain companies where you had a boss who's recruited a particular kind of people. And then you can get them laughing so easily. Like in MLM, you know what that is? So kind of
multi-level marketing.
Yeah. Though the people that attend to those events are usually the people who have an easy time showing emotion for some reason. Every single such event, the expectation of their appreciation will be absolute reaction. You'd love to be there, man. There will be applause. There will be laughter. There will be amazing reactions. So what I want to come down to is this, that it's it's just an incorrectly set expectation. Exactly as success in life isn't about the money or the car or the wife or the man. And success in a presentation isn't about gaining laughter and getting reactions and getting people to take notes, because you don't know where they are, their headspace. Maybe one or two of them had a bunny that died that morning. How much can you ask from them? Huh? Yeah. Can't ask too much. No. They'll be tired. They'll be a bit unfocused. It's not on you. So yeah, it's... so the conclusion of that then is this. The only true measurement of success is, did you enjoy yourself? Because if you enjoyed yourself, and if you were happy in your presentation, if you leave and you go like, damn, I had fun. Damn, I got to try that skill, I got to try that spice, and I got to do that interaction with them. And that's your measurement of success. Did you have fun? it is very, 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 very likely that they had fun as well.
True. Yeah, if my entire presentation is built upon that I need to get reactions in the way that I'm expecting in my head, then that will be harder than just focusing on having fun, delivering what I truly believe is interesting and important, and the things that I just it's a very clear difference within the feeling inside me and from what I'm thinking of doing on Friday, just having fun with it instead of just. I think I'm like a lot of people. I do have a lot of performance issues in my mind where I expect a lot of things from myself, and then I also deliver on those promises. I need to because those are the rules I've set for myself.
Yeah.
But it's also easy to lose track of what I'm doing. Not in the sense of like unfocused, but just being so focused on getting that reaction that if I don't get it, then that's a failure. Yeah. And that's very hard.
By definition. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I hear you, man. And it's just a question of trying new things. So try that on Friday.
Yeah.
Just go in there and you have fun. Because if you have fun, you laugh, right?
True.
If you have fun, you'll do role play. If you have fun, you may even bring the guitar and do like a little 3-minute session about funnels in a song.
The funnel song.
Yeah, the funnel song. Would you have fun doing that?
Maybe not.
I think you would.
I could have fun, but there's that performance part.
You enjoy entertaining. But every single time you, like we always say that in Presenter Mastery, that the closest relative to performance is anxiety. Because as soon as you feel that you don't perform, you won't go to like a lesser level of performance. No, you'll shoot straight off to anxiety, anxiousness.
Yeah.
And that will impact your performance massively.
True.
But fun can't take that away from you. Like, what would happen then? What would be the effect if you don't have fun? What will happen? You won't get anxiety. You won't have anxiousness. You'll just be bored.
Yeah.
So just have more fun then.
True. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but definitely need to focus more on having fun and less on the performance.
Yeah. Or the bunny technique.
What is the bunny technique?
Yeah. You look out into the audience and you ask yourself, wonder whose bunny died today. Because you don't know, literally, do you? You have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's my bunny died this morning. My family's bunny died.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't pressure you to say that. You know?
No, it's all right. It's all right.
But I like the new technique I just came up with, the bunny technique. Because I think it's interesting, to ask yourself, because you think you got these ideas about people's behaviors based on their facial expressions. It's never true. I've done this for 20 years, like when people come up, you can have the most strained person sitting there with no facial expression and looks like they want to kill you. And they come up after and you're like, that was amazing. That was great. I don't know how many times that happens to me. You cannot tell.
No, but it is very true that just looking at a person, you will never know what they ate for breakfast.
No.
You will not know what route they took to work or whatever happened in their life. It's just impossible. So what goes on inside another human's mind is just their stuff.
Yeah.
And I can control the things that I feel, the things that I think about myself, and how that I allow it to affect my performance.
Yeah.
Or if having fun instead of just performing.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I like that focus. We talk about focus questions, right? Focus questions in the PDC model, presenter and delivering content. In presenter, it's about mindset, and within mindset, there's something called focus questions. And a focus question we often bring up as an example is where you ask yourself what's wrong with the stuff in your room. So if you're driving your car at the moment, or if you're at the tube or wherever you are, if you look around yourself and you look for whatever's wrong around you, just do that for 10 seconds. Like, go, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Now go, what's fantastic with that? Do that for 10 seconds. Just go around, what's fantastic with that? What's fantastic with that? These are called focus questions, and they will feel differently. Like the first one will make you feel a little bit less happy, and the other one will make you feel more happy, and you'll see things you haven't seen before. It's the same thing that you said to yourself. How can I perform? How can I make them laugh? That's a focus question. And it's of the same nature as what's wrong with that. It's the same nature.
Yeah.
How can I perform? How can I do that? How can I make them laugh? It's a performance-based question. And my suggestion then would be, how can I have more fun? Right? Can I walk out into the audience? Don't care about the reaction. Just go for it. All right, you can't be narcissistic where you go like I'm going to do lap dances and stuff because I think that's fun. That's not going to work. But then another focus question is, how can I make them grow as much as possible? So for a long time, I had a focus question which went, how can I earn as much money as possible? How can I charge as much as possible? So that was a big part of my being until I hacked my depression. Imagine that. Just imagine that for a moment, Lucas. You go to a car salesman, and the only thing in his head is, how can I make more money? How can I sell this car for as much as possible? How can I sell as many add-ons as possible? How can I sell the car model that I earn most money on, not the one that you want? Right? Can you picture that person? Now you picture the other person, which has the focus question of, how can I help you the most? You as a human being. So you come into the same place and this person meets you. His entire purpose is this. Which car meets your purpose best? Which car will you be happiest with in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Which add-ons will be best for you as a family father? Which one do you want to meet?
Well, the second one.
By far, right?
Yeah.
By far?
Yeah.
So who do you want to be on stage?
Second one.
Second one. So a person that goes up with a focus question of how can I get more booked? How can I earn more money? Instead of just shifting that to how can I make them grow as much as possible during my keynote? How can I give it everything? How can I bring out those metaphors, those stories to give them everything? Something changes in your head when you do that. Again, how can I perform is very egoistic. Brings out a lot of dopamine, but not a lot of other stuff. But if you go, how can I help them? Oxytocin is produced, which is a calming neurosubstance. Focus questions controls us a lot. We do a lot of that training in Presenter Mastery. But I think this is an interesting subject, and those are a couple of good examples.
Yeah. It is, and it's so powerful to look at how can I help you? How can I make you grow? In that sense, where I just had a conversation this morning with one of our coaches around for the Presenter Mastery program, and where it is all about, is this a good fit for you? And to understand and be able to answer that question, is this program the thing that really will help you grow?
Yeah.
We need to understand what is the actual problem. Because if we just barely scrape the surface, then a person can say, well, I'm presenting data and I need help just making that more interesting. And then you can talk about that. But then if you don't dive down deeper, you won't understand if it's actually a time efficiency problem, a time management problem, or just maybe that they don't have an accountability partner. They don't set specific times per week. And if they had, then all of the other things would just fall into place.
Yeah.
So for example, in this case, it would be very easy to talk about, like, okay, on Wednesdays, we do our coaching calls in the program. And that's the time where you will show up. It's your presentation Wednesday. Wednesdays are the days that you work on your presentations, where you look into your data, where you build your stories, connect them to that and make them interesting. And then the program is a much better fit for the person, and they will actually get help with that specific problem that they have. And that's the reason why you should get the program, and not just very flat at the surface level, because there's no, well, it just makes more sense.
Yeah, I can see that a lot. Another example of that would be a person coming to me who says, can you teach me how to deliver, how to build better PowerPoints? Well, yeah, sure, I can do that. But then again, I'll have to ask myself, why? Why do you want to build better PowerPoints? And the reason was actually that they're so nervous and that they don't have the nerve to just stand there without a PowerPoint. They're so nervous that they need the PowerPoint to hide behind. So the problem wasn't the PowerPoint. I can help them with that. But their real problem was nerves. And if I help them with that, then they can use flip charts, whiteboards, role play, props, in your audience interaction. Boom, you got an entire new level of a presentation. But if I just gone, as you said, if our coaches would just go with a person's first instinctive need, that may not be right.
Yes. Oh, question, Emil.
So what do you do if the audience is not reacting to you at all? Is there any good example of when you actually got them to turn around, if they were maybe bored by a previous speaker and you came on and you uppered the mood?
Yeah.
Maybe talk a bit about that.
This is Emil. He's
Hey,
a cool
Emil.
technician.
Hello.
Yeah. He's who helps us out, getting this pod out to you all. And it's a good question from Emil.
Yeah, well, I guess the question that I also am thinking in my head is a silent audience really a problem? Because what you basically said was that focus on having fun and doing the things that you were hired or asked to do on stage, and that being silent might be due to cultural differences. It might be that they're just baffled by what you're saying. It might be a number of things. So is a silent audience really a problem, and should you try to tackle it?
Well, from a scientific point of view, carbon dioxide levels could be like up to 1,500, 2,000 ppms. You'll have a silent audience. It doesn't matter how good you are practically, because their brains are fighting for survival, more or less. And they have to get rid of the carbon dioxide. So some rooms that I've delivered presentations in have had let's say, bad quality air that the people just didn't have the energy to have any reactions. So if I walk into a room like that, I'm like, my first priority is like, how can I fix the room quality or the air quality in this room? I had a conference actually where I did the conference, and I think it was like a 4-hour workshop. We went on for an hour, and then I went like, carbon dioxide levels are too high. And the reason I knew this, and the reason I'd learned how to know how that feels, is that I was carrying a carbon dioxide measurement device with me wherever I went. So I was documenting every. My idea was this, because I was doing so many trainings in Sweden. My idea was to document every conference I went to be able to post a top 10 list of best aired conference rooms in Sweden. That was my plan. I was going to do this over a year. And I never posted it because I realized that I'd never be able to go through all the conference rooms. But I definitely managed to get down like a top 10 list of my own favorites. Anyhow, this place sucked. And the carbon dioxide was really bad. So I called down to the reception. They were like, yeah, no, the air is good. We can see the air conditioning is on. We can't do anything more. But like, are you kidding me? The carbon dioxide levels seem too high. No, they're good. Can I open a window? No, you can't. No, you can't, Okay, but oh God. All right, I'm coming down to you. So I went down to them with the carbon dioxide meter, and I'm like in their face. Read the measurement. And like, what is that? And I'm like, that's a carbon dioxide measurement device. Like, why do you have one? Why do you have one like that? I'm like, do you see this? 2,200. That's almost illegal. According to building standards, it should be at least below 1,800. Or 1,800 is the standard, which is way too high. It should be like 600. So yeah, they had to fix it. So that could be a scientific reason for why the audience is just down. And the other one is that you could have had a presenter just prior to you. They could have had an entire day, which is very common. When you have company conferences and it'd be just sad, bad PowerPoints for 6 hours. People are so tired. They've even fallen asleep a bunch of times. Waking them up would be core. So you have to, but you can't really just kickstart them and get them up to dance either. But you have to bring energy into that room. So if you don't build that strong enough, you won't win them over, and they may just carry on in the mood that they were in. Okay, so that's another issue. If you're there and you're in the middle, say you've gone like 20 minutes and you're like, I'm not getting the reactions that I believe I would or whatever, again, don't make assumptions. But if that is the case, you can do things like a stand-up exercise where they get to do a discussion, 2 and 2, and then they get to interact in something. So those usually at least get the carbon dioxide flowing and the oxygen flowing in their system. So that can help. And those are a couple of spontaneous things I can think of that you can do. Yeah.
Well, I guess if you're just doing a talk, just presenting a subject, and what I mean with that is you're just talking and you have your PowerPoint, but you haven't prepared any spices or interactions or anything.
Yeah.
So a thing to take with you to the next time would probably be to, if you feel that this is non-reactive, and you have a setting again, you have another possibility to view your presentation and actually try to add in a couple of more things in
spices.
Yes, spices in the presentation.
Yeah, absolutely. What is spices?
Well, the spices are different. It's a set of tools to use to increase engagement, interactivity, and attention in your presentation.
Yeah.
Like a raise of hands, telling a story, using whiteboard or a flip chart or your PowerPoint.
Cool. How many are there?
136. Something in my throat.
How many spices are there, Lucas?
136, David.
That's a lot of spices.
It is. And I haven't made the rules. I just read the book.
All right. The book which isn't out yet. I'm writing that one day. But for now, we've just got this periodic table with 136 different variations.
Yeah.
Key is add those, see to it that they're in there at least like every 30 seconds, every 1 minute. And you will get people who, at least then you know. I think that's what I love. As long as you spice your presentation, you know that they will be engaged if they are engaged.
Yeah, well, that's the thought I had in my mind, that fine, you have a silent audience, and it can be due to all these things.
Yeah.
And a thing with me is I know that I'm fine if I know that I've done everything to my capability.
Yeah.
So if I know that I knew the subject, I didn't lose track, I didn't talk about stuff that were irrelevant or made no sense, I actually did a good job according to what I wanted to deliver. If I've done that and they were silent, I should be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
that's good. I like that. So maybe the combination in here would be see to that you've spiced it, so you created the foundation for attention and interest, and then have fun.
Yeah.
If you combine those two.
Yeah, because in my example where we started off this conversation, I know I did not plan any spices.
Yeah.
I was focused on what I wanted to talk about, in what order I wanted to talk about it, and make it relevant and interesting.
Yeah.
But I forgot about adding spices into the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, considering it's one of the most popular parts of Presenter Mastery, and you've been doing that for a year now, I'm looking forward to seeing the spices that you'll be adding, including the guitar song about funnels. The funnel song.
The funnel song will be delivered on Friday. You know, it will be a 1-hour presentation on spices, and if you learn something from it, we'll see. But it will be fun.
There's something I've also picked up lately in regards to this, and it's a saying that goes like this. Shift expectation to appreciation. Shift expectation to appreciation. Don't expect, appreciate. And I learned that, literally 7 years ago or something like that. But I haven't started using it until this year. And it's so powerful, man. It is so powerful. When you're on stage, when I'm on stage now, like I was in LA now, instead of asking myself, what do I expect out of this, what do I expect out of myself, I just went to, how can I appreciate just getting the opportunity to be here, appreciate being with them. And the beautiful thing with that is that appreciation is so relaxing as a state that it puts you into such a relaxing state. And the reason you want to be in a relaxing state or in a fun state is because that's where your brain works at its best. That's like giving your brain 100% capacity. Here you go, brain. Function at your best. Whilst nervousness and anxiety goes, I will only give you 20% access to your brain now, because the rest will be used to pump blood into your veins and muscles in case you need to hit something. 20%. That means that we'll remove vocabulary and short-term memory. And yeah, we'll also remove saliva from your mouth. Yes, that's a great idea. Let's do that. You don't want to go there. No. Appreciation. Fun. Good mental states. Activate. Saliva in mouth again.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It was a good conversation. And for anyone listening, just if you're like me and find it hard with silent audiences, just make sure that you're having fun. Plan a couple of spices in your presentation. And if they're still silent, then maybe it's not you. Maybe it's them.
Appreciate it, man. And I am sorry about the bunny.
Yeah, thank you.